was it harder for you for being from Pittsburgh? And how was it? Did you have to navigate? Because like I know people from sometimes they have to go to New York.
Yeah.
Was it something like that? You had to skip over Philadelphia and go to New York?
Were there any legends you looked up to that came out before?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story about Pittsburgh because we were really influential in the early 90s West Coast sound with like Sam Snead and like Mailman and those are people who worked really close with Suge and Dre and Snoop and like really pioneered that sound, but they just weren't in front of everybody.
It's clean.
So we always had like it is. That's good stuff. So we always had like a direction that we wanted to go in. We just never had anybody to like wave that flag for us.
Right.
And just being from PA in general, I think it's really difficult for a lot of artists, even from Philly, to get noticed or to get looked at and be like, these guys are original or have their own sound. And I think anywhere, you have to really leave and become bigger somewhere else for your city to kind of look at you as somebody.
Right.
I feel like even if you're in New York, like nobody's going to call you your rap name. They're going to call you who they know you from the block. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, you have to make yourself somebody and then come back home.
Right.
And it was the same thing with Pittsburgh. It was a lot of grinding and being a teenager, being somebody who was just trying to find myself as a young adult and, make music that was appropriate to who I was and that translated to other people that were doing different things. It took a minute, you know what I'm saying? But it was worth it. And I love Pittsburgh.
Right.
There's a lot of dope artists out there.
Man, it's a crazy scene.
Underground scene's crazy out there.
From the beginning all the way till now, like we have a lot of talent out there when it comes to producers, musicians, artists, cameramen, designers. It's such an artistic city, bro.
But you don't miss the winners.
Nah, I don't. It's so cold.
I don't miss the winners, man. Yeah. And so, what was it from the moment, like, because to me, you're a rock star, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you transitioned just being a hip hop artist, just being a stoner. Like, you're, if not, I think you already is. You're a superstar, right? But it started from being a rock star. At what point did you see yourself transition in hip hop? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say you're bigger than hip hop, but, like feeling like my audience isn't just hip hop. You know what I mean?
I feel like I have my own like subculture of hip hop. It's like alternative rap.
Right.
Where it's rap, but it's not like hardcore shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to say crossover or mainstream. But that was always my goal, to make big songs. You know, I never wanted to just be underground or just be a nigga who was just known around the way. Like, I wanted to appeal to worldwide crowds, and that's how I write my music. That's how I structure it. And just, my knowledge about music, it goes beyond just hip hop.
Right.
And that's why it translates the way that it does. But I think for me, it's more just the attitude than anything, because you have to have the knowledge and you have to understand music and how to appeal to people and who you want to appeal to. But also you have to have a certain way about yourself that you present it, and pretty much sometimes I'm the only one who cares about my opinion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't give a fuck sometimes.
Like being you in the studio and you're the only one who likes this vibe and you still go with it?
Just in general, about how I want to dress, about how I want to talk, about, just being different, just how I live my life.
Right.
Like, I'm the only one who agrees with me a lot of the times. But I feel like that's the rock star energy, is just not giving a fuck and doing what you want to do and presenting that to people and making people love you for who you are. Right. And I do it in a safe way. I'm not dangerous. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not trying to hurt myself.
Right.
So, I always just conducted myself with this confidence and this care for myself.
Right.
Was the first deal you had with Warner?
Yeah, the first deal I had was with Warner.
I was the rep, and he actually was a young cat working in the street team. And we worked, and did you feel that it felt in the beginning, if I remember correctly, and I might not, but it felt like in the beginning Warner didn't know how to work your record.
How to market them?
Yeah.
At that time, the music business was really like just, they didn't know what to do. I think like Lil Scrappy was the biggest artist at Warner at that time. And that's because Trillville was popping off, and they had J-Rock, you know what I mean? And Kendrick was under J-Rock.
Right.
So they didn't know what was going on with who was going to be where in 10 years. You dig what I'm saying? And it was up to us as the artists to like pave that way for them. And yeah, you're right. They didn't know what to do with me, but I had a song that like appealed to the radio. It was called Say Yeah, and it was over Alice DJ sample, and they never heard nothing like that at that time. They were like, who's this kid? mixing like, rap with techno. Like they never heard that. So of course they put me in the studio and try to get me to make 30 songs like that.
Right.
But I'm talking about smoking weed and riding around with my homeboys and hanging with girls, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Where's the techno at? so it didn't work out.
Because it felt like, going back to that blog era, it felt like the traditional marketing style that was being done from the majors wasn't working, and it felt like you and that whole generation found your own lane on your own, and you made it work.
Yeah, it was just more going on than what the labels were like showing people. They were just trying to polish it and kind of get the best of that, but they weren't trying to get everything that was put into that to get to that point, and that's what I was showing everybody. Man,
do you think artists even need labels at this point?
Hell no.
Right?
Nah, if you're an artist,
I think you're gonna say hell yeah.
Nah, if you're an artist, you are your own label. Like
because you know what's crazy about, like, obviously I come before you, but your generation still, people will get discovered, right? This generation is already building their fan base.
Yeah.
They already have a fan base. If they have 5,000 spins, it might be 5,000 different people. They're already building their fan base. So I always wonder, but then you'll see artists, get some popularity, and then they'll still go and they'll sign. Yeah. Why do you think it is that?
There are good labels out there.
Yeah, they are.
That take care of their artists, that nurture their artists, that promote them and, make them a priority. Right. But that's just a certain game that you have to play. And if you don't want to play that game, you don't have to.
Right.
And I think a lot of the artists sign because they don't know what they're signing up for. Right. I think you should be fully aware of what you're getting yourself into and then sign the paperwork. Like, don't sign it thinking that you're going to get a Rolls Royce and you're going to fly private and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you get into it for. It's a career. Right. It's like signing to a basketball team. So you have to put in work and you have to do other things along with that to make it freaking lucrative. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, it's all a part of what game you want to play. But to succeed, nah, you don't need that.
All right.
No.
Like right now, me and EFN is opening a distribution for podcasts. And our contracts are like 2 pages. It's not no complicated shit.
Right.
It's like, if you want to be here, you be with us.
Right.
You don't want to be here. I feel like record labels, if you sign to a label, it should be that simple. It shouldn't be that complicated.
It should be, especially with all the niggas who's going to jail these days and the niggas on drugs. So you got to have life insurance for a nigga.
Okay.
You're making an investment. So like, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot. It's like a car, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but even the car's not a lifetime contract. Like, like there's people who have life,
in perpetuity in the universe.
Like I'm sorry to sound like the old nigga,
really
but when we signed, there was no digital in my contract. That shit never existed. You know what I'm saying?
But it did because of in the universe.
They said the universe. But what is it called? Perpetuity. I didn't know what perpetuity meant back then.
It's still in the contract.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you just got to know what you're signing up for. Like, you can own certain shit and then you can break bread on certain shit for a certain amount of time as well. You just work it out into your favor. Right. And then just like you said, these days it's more dependent on the artist. So the more you walk in there with, if you have a fan base and things like that, the more leverage you have to say, this is what I want to do for how long. So that's my advice for anybody, is to just build up your leverage. So when you do actually, start taking those meetings or considering it, you're in a good place.
And so you can level up, take advantage of the machine.
Man. Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, brother.
do you know you're a legend?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I love that.
Smoke some hookah to that.
Yeah. That's what we smoking.
That's your butt in there.
Oh,
Khalifa.
It tastes amazing.